Hey guys and girls, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We have the Chet Atkins Epiphone back on the bench today. We've made some progress. I'm going to show you where we're at, and let's get to it. So you can see, yeah, there's a hot mess going on the bench today. Fix my camera, sorry. There's a hot mess going on here. Now, we took out the P90. That's going back to the customer. I was able to remove most of the goop and crap from the previous repair guy that used. This goes in there, obviously, with the E facing that way. It's so weird. He drilled a hole here. He had this thing in there backwards. He was punching holes and drilling holes in it. At least it'll have that back in there. I'll tell you where we're at. I took the entire wire harness out of it. It was a hot mess. Not a whole lot to explain there. Extra long mini pots of nondescript nature. He had automotive, looks like what to me is automotive wire, putting that whole thing together. I opted to take it all out. I put cloth covered, fished cloth covered yellow and black for the output jack, which is going to go to the new control plate. Where's our control plate? Which is going to go to the control plate, which goes right here. I had a better, I don't know, this is some nondescript, I don't know what it is, I can't tell you, a nondescript acoustic pickup. I'm putting a Piazza in there, and I'm not going to pull that back out of there because it took me the better part of this morning to get the wires fished through. He, by the way, has also taken a drill at some point, and the tech before him, and tried to cut out more goop and to be able to have that and that working, and it was an epic fail. This guy, if I ever see him, I'm going to punch him right in the nose and take away all his tools because he doesn't know how to work. He has damaged the guitar. I can see where he was grinding in there and trying to whop out a bigger control, a bigger cavity to run wires through. Yeah, was it fun running the wire for that pickup back through to get it over here where I can work on it, put it to the control plate? No, it wasn't fun. And not only that, he cobbled together some sort of glob of solder so you couldn't just pull it out and tie the new one to it and pull it through. No, it wouldn't come through the hole. So yeah, I digress. Lots of work to still do. I have the solder iron out. We're getting ready to go to it. Now I'm not going to film every little thing. I've got white cloth covered wire and black. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to completely rewire his entire control plate and solder it together. I have put together, I have an Epiphone output jack that I'm going to use. It is actually an Epiphone. It says Epiphone right on it. That's going to go in there. I'm going to use his control plate for that. I have got my two, we're going with, there was 250s in there. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Sorry, forgot. Yeah, I wired the tone pot together already with the capacitor on it. This is the volume pot, and it's already soldered with the ground. You fold that one over. Yeah, these are 250s. Sorry, hold on. Yep, they're 250s. And I'm going to wire it up properly. So I have yellow and black to denote the output jack. The pickup, the bridge saddle pickup, is gray and interior is white and bare ground. Very common, basic stuff. For the inside, to put the pods together, white and black. Ground obviously being the black. I am almost certain once I get done doing this that we will not only eliminate that ground noise problem that we had because of the cobbled up glob solder job that the guy did, and it was completely wrong, but he had a P90 with this and it was wired together. It was all globbed together, figuring that would work. Well, no, that doesn't work. That is a fail. We are going to do it the right way that I know how to do it, and it should eliminate the problems that we had initially that we encountered. So let's fire up the solder iron. I am not going to show you soldering this whole thing together, but what I'm going to do is pause while I solder up the control plate, and the last thing I'm going to show you is soldering in the output jack. And then we're going to test it and put a string on it like we did in the first video and just make sure that everything is working the way it's supposed to, right? You follow? I'm sure you do, because judging by the numbers, a lot of you are. So stand by. We'll be right back. So, yeah, it's been a second for you, but about a half an hour, 45 minutes. That is what a control plate is supposed to look like when it's soldered together. Okay, volume, tone. And that is not what it looked like when it came in. It was just a mess. And once I pulled the control plate out when I originally got it, I couldn't even get it to go back in. It should fit in easily and snugly. And you put a couple of screws in it, and then we're going to solder up the output jack and put a string on it and see if my work pays off. I can tell you that from what I found and where we are at now, I'm pretty confident. But I'm usually pretty confident in what I'm doing. Not boasting, just when I find a ratty mess like I found with this poor girl, I know that there's a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things. And when this one came in, it was the wrong way with a capital R, well, W. I'm just putting a couple of screws in just to temporarily hold the control plate in. We need to get after this, and I'm going to flip the guitar around, which is going to make it easier to get at this control, this output jack. I think we're in the video. Yeah, it'll do. So I don't know, it's a nondescript output jack. I'm going to put an Epiphone. It's actually labeled Epiphone output jack. Let's get this one taken apart and see what's what. Yeah, there's just some glopped up, and like I said before, not to be redundant, but automotive wire. He was using automotive wire to wire up this guitar. My God, it's amazing to me some of the crap that happens. We don't need that one right away. I'm gonna have to. This one did come out of another guitar. I'm gonna have to pull some of the solder off of there. Let's get fired up. Let's get this solder sucker. We'll heat it up Suck the old solder out. There's nothing wrong with this output jack. It was literally brand new. It just, somebody didn't know what they were doing. Yeah. Let's get this stuff off of here. And what do you do with the sucker? Well, you heat up the old solder. Hopefully it heats up pretty quickly. And you suck it off until you got the nice open hole. Big piece of solder in there didn't come off. Okay, try it again. One more time. It's a little tricky. You solder, you get the solder melted, and then you suck it out. So you got a nice clean hole to work with. So where are we going with this? Where are we going with this? Let's make it be happy, happy. So I did, when I started with this, the automotive wire that the guy used, there was literally this much hanging out of the output jack. I've got what I consider to be a little too much here. So I'm going to snip it down because you only need a certain amount of it, enough to shove back in there. And it wants to go back in easily so that you're not, you know, to have that much hanging out. That's a fail. That's a fail. And we don't need this much. I overestimated. But that was because I was dealing with a lot of extra crap. So we want to be able to get to where we need to be. Have enough to work with. And I like you can tell that oh, and by the way, there were 2 blue wires coming out, automotive wires, going all the way through to the control panel. And I put a yellow and a black. Everything else in the control cavity is white and black. Now, that's just so if the next guy gets on here, he's going to go, oh, yellow and black. These 2 yellow and black go to the output jack. Yeah, pretty easy stuff, pretty basic. Let's do it. Now, how do so ground goes to the tip, hot goes to the inside. So we're going to start with the ground. I hope this is coming out on the video. I don't usually show soldering because it's so small and meticulous, but this is how I do it. You pull them out, get your iron hot, put a little solder on there. On your tip, you're tinning your solder iron, and then tin your wire. Both wires. And why do you do that? Well, you just do. Because if you don't, it's not going to make a good joint. Now I'm running out of solder. I don't want to put this in here with that little tiny piece of solder. So, brand new rosin core. Let's get our, now the way I do this, I like to tin them, hook them, get them started where they're supposed to go, which is, this is the tip. Tip would be your ground. If it doesn't want to go through, sometimes there's a glob of solder on the end of it. Don't need that. Put a hook. Put it where you want. And then pinch it together. Yeah, it won't come off of there. And if you ever have to unsolder it, it's not going to be fun, but I'm not worried about unsoldering it. I'm worried about putting it together. And put some heat to it. And a little bit of extra solder, and that's all it takes. Right? Check your joint. If it's moving at all, it's not good, and it's not moving. Next. I hope my head isn't in the way. How many times have I ever said that? Probably not the first time. And check your work. Make sure you're cleaning your tip off every single time. And if you're not using your solder iron, turn the temperature all the way down. 20 minutes will go by really fast and you'll end up burning your solder tip, your solder iron tip. We got two really good joints on there. All right. Onward and upward. I'm going to pull this guy out. I'm pretty sure that's a 13 millimeter. Which side do I put the locking washer? Yeah, the locking washer goes in here. I think this one already has. Epiphone has their own kind of locking washer. Does not have one. So if the plate goes on there like that, you want the locking washer. There's these little guys. Let me get it over here. Okay, there's a tangs on this side and smooth on that side. The tangs go towards the plate. All right. So when you put it on the output jack, you want the tangs to go out. That way, when it gets against the plate, it's gonna grab. Now this one, that's the beauty of the Epiphone ones, and they have their own way of doing it. There's already a washer down on there, and it's set. I like that. Now we're going to put a washer. Yeah, I'm going to put a washer on that. I don't trust this kind of output jack. Just don't trust it. I'm going to put a flat washer and then another lock washer. What's the biggest problem with electric guitars? Yeah, it's always the output jack, and then you start tightening up on it, and what happens? Yeah, you strip wires in the back. Let's see if our nut starts again and tightens down. Oh, that's the wrong nut, dude. And that one is not 13 millimeter, is it? Maybe. Yep. Uh-oh, something wrong with the nut. Not happy with that. And that's the problem with Epiphone. What happened? Oh yeah, it's a fail. That's the problem. That's the only problem with Epiphone output jacks. They have their own size thread. Wow. I don't know if I have another Epiphone nut. Let's find out. I don't think so. Looks like it might be it. And when they look like it, but they usually aren't. Against my better judgment, I wanted to use an Epiphone output jack that I thought was good. No, that's a fail. Stand by. Yep. So I fail every once in a while too. I really wanted to have an Epiphone output jack in there just because it said Epiphone on it. So if anybody ever pulled it out, it would say Epiphone right there. Nah. Gave me a hard time is what it did. That's all I accomplished with that. But I digress. We had another one. I put a regular output jack in there. Now, let's see. Again, I'm only going to put a couple of screws in just to hold it. And then we're going to tap it. We're going to put some juice to it and see if the damn thing makes noise. All right, what's going on here? Boy, everything on this guitar has fought me. This isn't even screwed in straight. The holes are lopped out of shape. Wow. Not so far impressed with not only the work that the guy did for this customer previous to me getting the guitar, but some of the workmanship on it just wasn't. I like Epiphones, I really do, and I rarely find one that I go, oh, what is going on there? But yeah, I found a few things on this one not real happy about. Okay, let's put a string on it. The end of this video is going to be, did we have a success or did we have a fail? And remember, all we're trying to do is get back to this. So let's get back in the frame, set it up. We're just going to put one string on it. Yeah. Put the saddle back into it. Remember, we had this working, so initial diagnosis was, yeah, we got it working with the other pickup. And we said, okay, we found the fails. And what we did was rewire everything and put a better saddle pickup in there. And I am hoping for a success here. And all we're doing is putting this E string back on to test it. You follow? So Could I have bench tested this and that and the other thing? Yeah, well, I kind of already did. I knew the parts that I was putting into it were so good. I took the parts that I knew were suspect or confirmed to be bad out. Well, here we go. The moment of truth. Let's see if volume is working. We don't have the same major where's my gain? Yeah. I got to clean up the pots. Remember when we started, you couldn't touch anything without it giving you. First of all, it was humming louder than the amp would give you. I'm going to tell you that the string is on the pickup. It needs more string tension on it, and it may need a shim under it. We're getting a little bit of wonkiness there, but I think it's because it ain't quite touching the string. Again, stand by. Okay, we're back. I only put one string on it just to test what's going on here, but we had to put a shim under there because, yeah, somebody had cut it down so far that when the string came out of the peg hole and went over the saddle, it didn't even touch the saddle. And that vibration needs to transfer over to the pickup, but we're getting it now. And it's still not quite getting it. I think there's something wrong with, yeah, it still needs to come up. It's barely riding over with enough tension on it. It could be because I don't have the rest of the strings on it, and both of the pots are kind of, they're dirty. So yeah, the pots are not connecting. It could be a bad pickup in there too now. I'm going to try to put another shim in there and see if that helps. Let's unplug it and go this way. It almost looks like this saddle is so small. It's so short. Well, we're gaining ground. I mean, we're getting closer to where we want to be, but there's still something going on here. And it isn't my work now. I can eliminate that. Now I'm starting to suspect maybe this pickup, but I doubt it because I know that pickup was good. No, that pickup. Yeah, when you drop the tension off, and get it down tuned. It might just be that it needs the rest of the strings on there. Yeah. When you over-tune it, no, we got a fail. We have a fail. Something isn't quite right. It might just be that there isn't enough tension on it. I'm gonna have to put the rest of the string, mock up a set of strings on it and see, because something, this part of the saddle is pulling off, and it might be changing the way the pickup is picking up on the vibration. Stand by. So yeah, I was right. It was, well, you can't put just one string on it because it was pulling up on the other side of the saddle and wasn't making good vibrational contact with the saddle pickup. But yeah, everything's working well now. It's kind of a one-trick pony. Doesn't do a whole lot. I still have to do something with this, and this is just a mock-up string. Tone's working, volume's working. I'm gonna spray these, clean them up. They must have been sitting on the shelf too long. Wow, this guitar put me through my paces. This is part 2 of the Chet Atkins Epiphone. One-trick pony, but I got it sorted out. I think I'm going to make the customer happy with this. He wanted it back to what it was originally. He couldn't tell me what kind of pickup it had in it, and he lost the old one, the original one. I did a little bit of research, but couldn't find enough information. I used a known good acoustic guitar pickup for it, and it's working beautifully. We'll talk soon. This will put me through my paces. If you dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe.